I'm Dr. Erica Harney. I'm the Director of Development for the DPS Foundation. The DPS Foundation firmly believes that DPS students should be afforded the very same education of other districts in Montgomery County, and this is just one way of many that the community can support that effort. The DPS Foundation raises community support, whether that's financial or through partnerships, for the district itself and its employees. And so every year we offer awards to our teachers and administrators. And so any community member can contribute to our teacher and school awards through our website and donating with the Dayton Foundation. Every spring, we do our teacher awards and administrator awards, and those are going to open on April 1. The application is fully online. We just require some basic information about your classroom or your school and ask for individual line item budgets. Those close on April 30th, and so that application process will then be judged by our program committee, for which awards will be made this summer to start next fall. The purpose of the grants really is to cover other expenses that may not be in a school's budget or something that's covered by the district. This is typically enrichment programs, after-school pieces, other classroom supports, or has been something that is on the individual student level. So something that they may need individually, like chef jackets, or we've purchased the choir robes that go to students individually. The application process is really simple. We actually have a pre-made template. So if you're not able to get online real quick, we do have a downloadable form that you can use as a template, write out all your responses, and then cut and paste those into the Google form. We also have plenty of tips and guidelines on our website on the teacher award and school award pages that will help guide responses. Over the years, we've made the application as short as we possibly can to get straight to the point about what you want to do in your classroom or school.
I'm Melissa Sharp. I teach 4th grade science and social studies at Ruskin Elementary. I received a grant for $500, and it allowed me to purchase something called Make Do, which is a cardboard construction set of tools. And what they can do is use cardboard, which is great because it's recycled. We don't have to buy anything new, just people contribute cardboard to it. And they can create all kinds of creations. They can cut things out. They've built things like scenery from books that they've read. They've built carnival games. Sometimes it's open-ended. They can choose what they want. I can create challenges for them. What I like about it is that it is so open-ended as I want it. You know, either they're doing something specific or they're creating on their own. And the whole thing is engineering design, which is great for teaching our kids perseverance, because they know if they want something, they're going to have to work through any difficulties. First of all, I just felt really appreciated when I received that, knowing that I had the freedom to get something that my students could enjoy, which would be educational. That was great, but it was just nice to feel like what I wanted to do in my classroom was appreciated by someone. The process was very simple. This was my first ever grant. I've never written one before. It always just sounded intimidating. This time I just couldn't resist. I just had to get on and try it, and I could not believe how easy it was. I don't think it took more than 5 or 10 minutes. I spent a lot more time figuring out what I wanted than just writing the grant.
My name is Nicole Plenner, Mrs. Plenner. I teach physical education, grades 7 and 8 here at Wright Brothers Middle School. I've actually received 2 grants from the program. The first one was for 30 yoga balls, and so that is a classroom set for exercise. It's just nice to have one for everybody. There's no sharing, everybody has their own. It's a kind of a lifetime activity, so I want kids to learn something that they can do in the future by themselves. So they can buy a yoga ball, and that's something that they already know how to utilize. My second grant was for pickleball, which pickleball is, may or may not know, is the fastest growing sport in America. The great thing about pickleball for PE is it takes a small amount of space. Tennis is such a large area, and so you only could have maybe a maximum of 8 children playing at the same time. But with pickleball in this gym, I can actually accommodate 24 kids all at the same time. Some of these kids, the only exposure they're getting to sports and fitness is right here in this gym or in their elementary gym. So we just want to open their eyes to all of the things that are possible.
Hi, my name is Kevin O'Donnell. I teach government at Meadowdale Career Tech Center. This is funding that might sound like a little bit, $500, but it can go a long way. $500 gets these 2 guitars behind you. That could totally change the life of a kid in your class who needs some sort of artistic outlet like that. And there's a lot of room to be creative with these grants. There's a lot of room to try out new things that you think might work for your students. It's also built such great bonds between students and between teachers and students. There are a lot of teachers here at Meadowdale who play guitar, and so you'll sometimes see Mr. French teaching a riff to a student. I just had a teacher come in just now and say, "Hey, O'Donnell, I'm borrowing the acoustic real quick. I'm working with a student on something." And so it's built, the best thing that's come out about this is the building community around these instruments. And at the end of the day, that's what it was all for. If you're somebody trying to figure out how can I support education in the most impactful way possible with the amount of resources that I have, this kind of thing would be the place to direct your resources. A little bit can go a really long way. Sometimes we look at our budget and it's millions of dollars going here, millions of dollars going there, and then this is $500 that can be absolutely life-changing for an individual student or a group of students.
Side is right next to them. DB's right here next to them. Hey, everybody understand that? Let's go. Get to work. Get to work. Hey, get a break. Hold on, y'all. Go. Hey, hard work on 3. Hard work on me. Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard. Get out of here. Let's get out of here.
Hi, I'm Katie Philpott, Preschool Intervention Specialist at Rosa Parks Early Learning Center. My position is to educate all preschoolers who come through our doors into our classroom and service students on an IEP, Individualized Education Plan, and it's a way that all students can access the curriculum and education. The kids are vibrant and excited every day to come to school, and they're learning literally how to school, and that's so important. DPS has lots of opportunities for growth. They give you ample professional development hours, which you need for your degree to continue on teaching. It's a great place where you're going to meet all kinds of people. You're going to meet every kind of student there is, and there's going to be challenges for sure, but when you handle those challenges and overcome them, you'll feel so proud of yourself. I enjoy the people I work with. They are some of the best human beings you will find on this planet. I enjoy how there is a preschool program for families who want access to that. That's very important to the K-12 curriculum. It's a great place to be, and if you look around the buildings, you will see active learning, you will see bulletin boards with the learning on it, so you know that there are great things happening in the classrooms. Every child who enters our classroom feels that their learning is important and that they are valued and they are important. So being the one to do that is like a warm, fuzzy hug.
Project Life is a transition program for students that have special needs and are on IEPs. It's post-secondary, so once they meet all their graduation requirements, their IEP team can decide that they would like to have them continue to receive services, and they can stay with us until their 22nd birthday. We teach them employability skills, how to get a job, how to keep a job, how to interact with people, interact with supervisors, how to be aware of what accommodations you need to be successful at the job. Then we give them a chance to practice that by going out in the community and working. And so our students build those skills, so once they leave, they can be successful and as independent as they can be going forward. So right now we're partnered with Boonshoft Museum. We go there weekly. The students clean the display cases, they clean high touch points. We partner with Woodman Bowl. This is our second year partnered with Woodman Bowl. We go there every Thursday. The kids vacuum, they clean and sanitize bowling balls. They organize all the shoes. In the warmer months, we go to the Learning Tree Farm. It's also our second year for that, and the kids get to do farm work or we garden. We also have a standing partnership with Innovative Plastic, and the outside business partnerships is really what makes this program great, because it gives the kids an opportunity to put the skills we talk about into practice. Currently, it's open to any Dayton Public Schools student that has an IEP and has met all the graduation requirements, and it's simply a decision that their team makes at their senior IEP meeting that they want them to do what's called defer their diploma and continue to receive services. Everyone can do anything that you put your mind to. Sometimes you may have to do a little bit differently. You might have to figure out something that makes it work for you, but everyone is capable. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about bus safety. Every day, thousands of Dayton Public School students ride the bus to and from school, and it's important to know how to stay safe. First things first, make sure to get to your bus stop at least 10 minutes early, and while you're waiting, stand in a safe spot away from the road. Once the bus arrives, go straight to your seat so the bus can start moving again. And remember, while you're on the bus, stay seated and keep the aisles and exits clear. Just like in a classroom, listen to the driver and follow their instructions. This includes no foul language, no sticking your arms or head out the windows, and no eating or drinking on the bus. Lastly, make sure you only get off the bus at your assigned stop, and be sure to walk home safely. Let's all work together to follow these rules and keep our bus rides safe for everyone. Thanks for listening, and stay safe, DPS.
If anybody is watching this, you can tell we have some amazingly dynamic, smart, wonderful kids in Dayton Public Schools. Tell me why you're in Dayton Public Schools.
I like going to E.J. Brown because of the staff. I love
like
the
that.
staff.
Yeah, you got a new principal. He is good.
Mm-hmm.
He walks around a lot, checks on you guys. I like him.
I want to be a robotics engineer. I want to take that to college and do great things with it.
How'd you come up with that?
I'm in a pathway called advanced manufacturing, and I'm taking it currently.
So your exposure or your experience in advanced manufacturing got you start thinking about, hey, this is the field I want to go into.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Awesome.
I like going to Belmont because I like the people and I like the teachers, I like the staff, and especially like the principal, Miss McDowell.
I want to go to Dayton Public Schools because I feel like every single teacher in Dayton Public Schools are really appreciated. of the students that they have and show a lot of love to them.
What I like most about the district is all of the opportunities that they have, such as DPS University, where you can earn college credits while you're still in high school. The staff is really welcoming, and they're always pushing you to do your best in whatever you do.
I'm looking forward to getting some of my college credits already out of the way before I go to college. I have a lot of favorite staff members, but the one who I would say influences me the most is most likely Miss Mo, because she just stays on top of everyone and she makes sure that you're doing well and having a good day and stuff like that.
I'm thinking of studying law and becoming a lawyer because I don't really like the laws we have now. So I'd like to maybe change them.
I like it. So you want to be an advocate?
Yes.
DeAndre?
I've thought about being a realtor. I always wanted to
What?
get rid of that. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I've never heard a kid say that.
I wanted to get rid of the whole bunch of empty vacant houses around my neighborhood, feel me? It just seemed like a good thing to do because it just make the neighborhood look bad. Even though it's good people around there, it just make my neighborhood look bad.
The whole staff and administration helped me get through my sophomore year all the way to my senior year.
King, I appreciate you sharing that space where you said that you had some adversity, you know, and that this hasn't always been an easy road, and there was a whole family that wrapped their arms around you. I want you to know how much we in Dayton Public Schools are proud of you, first of all, and how much we wish you the best in the future. And we hope that you stay in touch with us so we're able to talk about what a graduate looks like as they move out into the world and do things other than high school. It really is a wonderful event for kids to express themselves in ways that are outside of just being in class. So it's an exciting time in Dayton Public Schools, watching our young people really tell stories about politics, about how they feel, about the world, all types of sides of them that we don't normally see during the school day.
To be honest, I was blown away. It's beautiful coming to my city and seeing the young talent, you know what I mean? It takes a lot to get on stage and to, stand in front of a lot of people. And I know some people rehearsed it and some of them was like reading it live, but it's different when you're in front of people, and they did their thing, so I was excited to be a part of it.
Something that I really liked was that every student's piece, it had some level of impact. It meant something. A lot of it was a personal story.
They all left a piece of them on that stage. And for me, that was big, for them being students. They're youth out here expressing themselves. That just made me happy.
We need to use dialogue within our communities, states, and nation to achieve the dream of so many people in the world. A dream of peace and justice that has been put off for too long. A dream that we must keep fighting for together.
We are gathered here tonight to commemorate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So great of a champion he was to our people and a true king amongst men. But I challenge each of you to take a long, hard look at yourselves and reflect. Then ask yourselves, would he be proud of where we are today?
Anybody who can write and wants to write or wants to be able to express themselves, they should come here. There's no reason, if you have the opportunity, for you not to try.
And after you try, you're gonna get better. So never be afraid to start and try.
That's right.
Everybody good? I'm going. You good, Mr. Bailey? Dr. Bailey? All right. Good evening. I'd like to call this June 11, 2024 review session to order. Madam Treasurer, may we have a roll call?
President Smith.
Present.
Ms. Wick.
Present.
Dr. Goodwin.
Here.
Dr. Bailey.
Here.
Mr. Lacey.
Here.
Mr. Walker.
Present.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Present.
7 present.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening, everyone. Glad to see so many people out. Beautiful day, beautiful start to the summer. Dr. Lawrence, we have a few special presentations. Could you kick us off with your first one, please, sir?
Absolutely, President Smith. Exciting day today. Let's start off with legal. Havana Glover, City of Dayton law clerk, and we're doing some fantastic things with our kids at the University of Dayton. If you come up and talk about it, it'd be great.
Before leaving, I wanted to do a capstone with the McIntosh group, so I decided to do the Legal Immersion Program, which was a program I wanted to get as many DPS students as possible and kind of do like a quick 2-week legal boot camp, and we were going to hit everything hard. So we were going to do various court tours. Oh, wow. Sorry, I didn't know you all had pictures. We did various court tours, various workshops. Friday, we'll be doing a tour of the Ohio State Supreme Court, and it's been a pretty good program. Today the kids learned how to brief a case, which is something most people don't learn until their first year in law school, but I just want to teach them just a little bit about legal reading and legal writing. And it's been a good time so far throughout the past 2 weeks. And I just want to say thank you so much for all of your sponsorship and for transporting us to the Supreme Court. And then I'll let Daly share a little bit about her experience.
My name is Daly. I go to Stivers. I was in one of my classes and my best friend gave me like this paper to sign up to this program, and I did my submission and I got in. So it's been really informative. As I tend in the future to become a lawyer, it's been really informative on learning new laws and just like getting new perspectives from different lawyers that work different laws and even judges, and even meeting some of the municipal court, bankruptcy court, and federal court we did last Wednesday. It was really fun, and it's just been really informative for me. Thank you.
So we have 17 students currently, and it's my first time working with high school students, but it's been a really good time. They're a very bright bunch. These are some pictures for some of the tours we did. They got to meet some U.S. Marshals as well. So even if they decide they don't necessarily want to work in the legal field, they got to meet different, even if they don't want to be lawyers, they learned there's different jobs they can do in the legal field that doesn't require a Juris Doctorate. And yeah, just a little bit about the program, and I'd just like to say thank you all so much for your sponsorship.
It's awesome. I want to say thank you. I appreciate that. And before you go, if any board members have any questions, comments for you, me, myself, want to just reiterate how thankful I am for having people like you in the community that are already reaching back. It's always good to see some people doing those kind of things and helping students to see what they can be. And so I really appreciate that. Anybody from the board have any questions, comments?
Yeah, I just want to ask you, you said you're getting ready to go away to school. Is this program going to be something that's going to continue on with someone else?
So the Dayton Bar Association did ask if they could pick it up. I told them yes, and I have materials if they want to. I really hope they do. I will sadly be leaving for law school, so I will not be able to come back and implement the program, but I would love to see it still go on.
Okay. I hope they reach out to us and do that. That'd be great. Come into probate court as well. We are exciting over there as well.
Today we had Judge Parker come today, and he just did a quick run through for what probate court was for the kids.
He's not in probate though. Come on over there.
All right.
Tell him to call me. We'll get you in there.
Okay. Any other questions or feedback or anything?
I will say it is not sad that you are going to law school. I'm excited that you're going to law school because we need both more women and minorities in the practice, and it's great that you're going there. I would love this. I mean, I would shout out. I know when Alex from one of our lawyers gets put on the spot here. Frost Brown Todd, our group. I hope that knowing that we had a good amount of our students in this program, that even though the Dayton Bar Association has stated that they will help out, that we would find a way ourselves to do, some of that good old pro bono work where we give back to the community in these type of ways to help more individuals learn about the practice. So I will make that request on our legal team to also just really consider taking on this program in the next phase. Congratulations on not only getting into law school, because that in itself is a feat. It is not like regular college of you apply and you go. You had to go through a series of things. I'm excited for you, and we are going to miss you in this community in this aspect, but I do believe that you are going to go on and do amazing things in the practice of law, and I can't wait to welcome you onto this side of the practice of law as well. Thank you.
Also, Frost Brown Todd was nice enough to be one of our sponsors for the program as well, so this would have not happened without them either, so thank you all. Anything else?
Anyone else?
All right, well, thank you all so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next presentation, Dr. Lawrence.
Well, track and field time. Let's get going down to the floor, and let's welcome our state champions and state placers. What a terrific feat that is. One of my favorite sports.
Okay. Good afternoon. So for middle school, we had several students who qualified for the state meet. Several also placed, and we did have a couple champions. So today from Belmont, we have Michaela Valentine. She placed 5th in the girls 100-meter dash. From Stivers, we have Madison Jones. She placed 2nd in the 200-meter hurdles, 11th in the 100-meter dash. Next, we have Stivers 4x1 relay team. They placed 14th in the state. Their 4x4 team placed 24th in the state. E.J. Brown girls placed 1st in the 4x2. They were unfortunately unable to make it tonight. But Nia Poole placed 2nd in the girls 400 meters. She placed 19th in the girls 200-meter hurdles. And Nemo Poole placed 4th place in the boys 200-meter hurdles. For middle school, our girls city champions for track and field were Stivers.
I was gonna say, so I'm Coach Z. This is my girls team. We have Maria. We're gonna take a picture. And Hadijah, Kennedy, Madison, Shayana, Miracle, Amari, Kobe, Jemiah, Janessa, Zoe, Peyton, and Nayeli. And we have a lot more girls that couldn't make it tonight, but they put in a whole lot of work, very committed. A majority are 7th graders. I'm pretty sure everybody right here is about 7th grade, except for Miracle. I don't know if you want to race them now, but we can try. But we got a young team that came and put out a lot of work. So great job.
Exactly.
Everybody smile for me. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. I'd like to have Coach Crutcher come up and introduce his athlete, track and field.
Yeah, we had from Ponance High School, we had a 300-meter hurdler qualifier. His name is Javante Barnes.
Next, we'll have Ponance girls flag football. This was the first year DPS hosted a flag football for the young ladies. It went extremely well, and we have a first-time flag football all-city championship. And this is Coach Lyons.
Good evening, everybody. This is my flag football team, girls, ladies from the Ponance High School. First person is Ramaya, Miracle, Jay, Samaya, Anastasia, Blessing, Anaya, Addie, Gabby, Amia, and Ramaya. These young ladies did an outstanding job this year in flag football with me as a club, and we was down. They came back and rallied back up in order for us to win the city as a club. So they did an excellent job. We had a lot of spectators come out and support us every game we had out there at Rosa Parks. It was a very good, outstanding thing for them, and I think it gave them a lot of understanding about flag football, how to play the positions, and just turn around being very competitive with other schools. And I think that was a very good thing for them to help them a lot and gave them some ideas of what they want to do if they want to go to college, because they do have this for college scholarships now for flag football for the ladies. So we're working towards that if we're able to give them something to look forward to. And thank you very much.
Okay, big smiles. One. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smiles. Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Next up, we have the 2024 Boys Volleyball City Champs, Thurgood Marshall, and we have Coach Petty here to present.
Oh, the Ace chair.
One, two, three. Good evening. We have here the Thurgood Marshall volleyball team. I'm very proud of these young men. Last year we went 1-16. This year we actually went 10-5, won the city, undefeated in the city. So I'm very proud of these young men. I had 3 seniors to graduate. We're gonna miss them, but we have a great group of young men. Over there, raise your hand, we have Lloyd Gibson, he's a senior. He was with us last year, a part of our foundation. Next we have Roman Prater, he's a senior, a part of our foundation. He's a graduated senior. Next we have Keith Boyles. Next we have Elijah Cohen, Jaquan Anderson, and then the quiet guy of the bunch who never says nothing but talks, Justin Lee. He's also our academic all-star with a 4.0 above GPA.
All right, next up, we have the girls' high school track city champs. We have the coaching staff here. Not sure if many of the girls showed up or not, but we do have our Stivers coaching staff, Coach Scott, Coach Eads, and assistant coach, Coach Powell.
How's everybody doing today? All right, I'm Coach Scott. This is my wonderful group of young ladies that I coach and had the privilege to mentor for and coach for the past 2 seasons. It was tough this year to win the city, but you know I'm young and we're growing and promising. So I will introduce them. First off, I have Shelby Carter. Italia Mason Pinthony. The professional, Deja Johnson. My dancer, Alexia Knowles. My scholar, Japrice Taylor. I also have with us our coaching staff. The boys' coach is Coach Aaron Eads, Waterlick. And assistant coach is Michael Powell. And I appreciate you all having us here again. Hopefully we'll be able to see you next year, but with better news to where we are deep in the state. I appreciate you all.
We might need you to. There you go. Can you? All right, look this way. 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
That's the only one that's left. They coming, they on their way.
Let's go back.
Appreciate you, board, Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Jones, Madam Treasurer. Give a moment for people if they want to take their pictures as they are heading out and getting resettled. I know we have one more group that was currently en route, and so we'll see when they get here and where we are in the meeting. People sit in at our stand. Okay. Now, I'd like to make an addition to the agenda. First, asking, are there any bargaining units present that wish to speak?
Yes.
Bargaining units.
Oh, sorry.
Seeing that there are none, next I will ask, Madam Treasurer, did we have anyone sign up for hearing of the public this week?
Yes.
Okay. As always, you have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address, reason for stating the board, addressing the board. If you have any materials, please give them to the treasurer, and please refrain from talking to individual board members. You can address the board as a whole. Madam Treasurer.
Gwen Dolly Warren.
Good evening. Can I lower this a little bit?
Take it off if you want to.
Oh, take it off. Okay, excuse me. I'm a little nervous. I've never spoken in front of a school board before. So please excuse me. My name is Gwendolyn Warren. I'm a licensed massage therapist. I've been practicing. I'm a business owner of Lilietta Valley Wellness Center. I've been practicing for 23 years. Very excited about doing all kind of athletic opportunities, doing massage, introducing athletes to massage, so on and so forth. So I've done big events, no problem. On May the 24th, I actually met Victoria, I think her name is Victoria Jones, in regards to the setup of my business. I had a contract with the state. And so basically what she told me was this is her house, and because she didn't know me or know who I was, that she would have to get back with me in order to figure out the details. So I told her, okay, fine, but it really didn't sit right with me because, first of all, I'm a seeker of peace and I don't like mess. And so I was a little thrown off because I knew my contract was with the state and not with DPS. So she told me that she would email me back. She gave me her email. So I said, okay, fine. I reached out to her because she was kind of angry, kind of aggressive, which I really didn't understand that because I don't know her personally or professionally. So then she emailed me back on, this was on the 24th. On the 29th, she emailed me back at 7:49 in the evening saying that she will be able to talk back to the state after she gets details. But in the interim, I had already talked to the state. They told me the reason why she didn't know that I was there was basically was none of her business because they were already having difficulties with her. So I said, okay. I emailed her back and let her know that I've already spoken with them. I'll see you on the 30th, which was the first day of the meeting. Never in my 23 years of practicing have I ever felt like my life was threatened because of the mismanagement of the whole meet. These people, where I was set up, the people they paid their money to get in. They came across the state to see their athletes. There were vendors, we were set up outside the concourse, but these people were told that they can't even get back in. So they were angry. They were upset. I don't know if they were drunk. I don't know if they had knives or guns, but these people were ready to bum rush the door to try to get in to see their athlete. Yes, they should have been upset, but they should have been informed whether they could or could not come back in. But from a vendor's business perspective, that's the vendors are losing money because these people now, they're angry. They're angry because they can't get back in to see their athlete, which, I mean, my son ran regionals at DPS at Welcome Stadium, and there was nothing welcoming about attending this event. So these little details should have already been laid out prior to these people coming from around the state to watch their athlete. So not only was it unsafe for people like me.
Excuse me, that's the 3 minutes. I just wanted to let you know if you wanted it to wrap up, you've hit the
Okay,
3-minute
yeah.
mark.
So basically, my safety was concerned. I'm sure every other vendor's safety was concerned. And basically, she told me that this was her house. And because everything that needed to be done needed to go through her. And again, in the 23 years that I've been practicing and I've done big events, AAU, USATF on regional levels, I've never experienced. The people should have been told they couldn't even take stadium seats inside the stadium. So they're walking from, I don't know how far away to get to the stadium, and they didn't even know that
Excuse
they
me,
couldn't even.
you're at the 4-minute mark now.
Okay. So anyway, it was a horrible experience, and I won't be a vendor for DPS if this type of behavior goes on. So thank you for your time. I'm a little nervous, but you guys have a good evening.
Thank you. Treasurer?
That's it.
Thank you. Moving on in the agenda. Dr. Lawrence, recommendations, please.
President Smith, my first recommendation, I recommend the approval of the following human resources recommendations, Section A, for a vote.
Before we do that, it looks like the Dunbar kids are here, guys.
Are they here?
It's a group of them back there, just if you guys wanted to do that.
Are you ready? She's saying no.
Oh, okay. Just like my people with Dunbar shirts.
All right. Well, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any questions? Mr. Walker?
On item 39, it just says academic coordinator. Usually when we see these, they've said what they were for. This one does not. Is there any clarity on that? And also, my other HR question would be on the item 47. It just says teacher on special assignment. No clarity on that. And lastly, the transition specialist and transition coordinator role, were those posted for others to apply, and how do we land here?
So I'll have to get clarity on line 47. I believe Yolanda Webb will be in OEC. And I can get that specific position for you. Line 39, academic coordinator, I will have to find out exactly which department that individual is in as well. And there was one more.
Yeah, the transition specialist and transition coordinator roles?
Oh, those were posted.
Okay, and the specialist, the coordinator is 71, and then the specialist is 90? Salary-wise?
Oh, yes, transition specialist, line 28, and
Line 30?
line 38.
Line 38.
Yes, those are accurate. Based on fiscal year 24, that salary schedule.
Okay. And then last question for me. So I see the supplemental pieces, but I know that for flag football, those coaches did not receive a supplemental. Is that something that can be revisited to, hey, offer them $300 or whatever the case may be for the work that they put in and things like that?
We were having conversations about.
Yeah, we're gonna propose something that the board can take action on.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a
Dr.
question.
Bailey, then Dr. Goodwin.
Yeah, I just got a question for clarity. You could stay there if you want. So like, with all of these resignations that we've had, when, and I see a lot of people are going to different school districts, what are we doing to try to retain these people? Are they just telling us they're gone, or do we know ahead of time? Are we talking to them to maybe try to keep some of them, or what are we doing?
So when we negotiated the reopening with DEA, we added a $2,500 retention bonus. We thought that that would slow down some of the resignations. These are significantly less than has been in the past. We can get that data to you. So we thought that would help. We also have lots of conversations with the DA president, and he gives us feedback on what his almost 890 total members say to him, and we try to respond to that in terms of how they feel. But I think this is where we are in the teaching profession, and I think we have to do a better job of assigning mentors. We did not have mentor teachers for the teachers this year. When we came on board, that was a cycle that had already passed, but they will have mentor teachers next year, somebody to talk to, regular meetings where you check in with them. This is a tough job for new people in a tough climate, and we've just got to do a better job of checking in with them.
So then you're saying a lot of these are new people, new teachers?
Yeah, most of these are
And
new teachers.
administrators? Okay. All right, thank you.
Dr. Goodwin?
I'd like to pull actually a couple of these things because line number 29, 30, and 31. Because our intent with freezing, and anybody up here can correct me if I'm wrong, are we not trying to correct our pay scale? Because we're locking ourselves into the last things. Like, I understand hiring the new individuals because they're coming into something, but what's the status on the work being done on us, right? Like, correcting our scale to be better for us as an organization.
The treasurer's office, the business manager, and I, we committed to August 31st, but we'll be done before then.
Yeah, so, I mean, I like to pull those ones because that was the whole point of us doing this type of thing, to get those together. If we keep locking ourselves into the old scale with individuals newly going into those positions, I understand that us grandfathering in individuals who are currently have those positions and they're going forward makes complete sense to us. But to lock us in, I don't know what that's going to turn out to be. And if any of my colleagues, I mean, I'm asking you guys' opinion on this one too, with the administrator piece of it, like, because this isn't just me here. It's our task to our team was to build a scale based on the different criteria than what we've done in the past. And that part right there, I mean, we just got to get that done.
So for those individuals, we could actually do the change of assignment and the change of contract, and then when the new salary schedule is ratified, we can make the modifications to the salary, just to get them, approved today for the position.
I mean, that's fine. I do want to, because I don't know what the scale's going to end up going to be. I don't know if it's going to be higher or lower. And I guess that other part is if they had the opportunity to stay where they were, or if their position because something changed and it wasn't what they expected, it just seems fair to give them that opportunity to not move forward with it if something changed. Again, that's completely based on what you guys bring back to us as our leadership team on that salary scale piece itself. Because we froze the people on the last thing. We didn't change any salaries for the administrators that went in. They're still at their current pay rate. It just doesn't seem fair, and it doesn't seem warranted if our goal was to get this resolved. So moving forward, we are doing things more fiscally responsible and that kind of are better aligned with where we are as an organization today versus when those scales were put together. So I don't know if any of you guys disagree with that. If you do, I mean, so be it. But that is just kind of my opinion on, I mean, I want to pull those. So I want to pull the pay of it. I don't mind you guys.
So move forward with the actual.
That's y'all choice, but the pay of it, that's the part that, if that is possible, similar to the administrators that were approved last week, but did not get anything changed on their pay, they're still where they are.
So for clarification, we would ratify the change of assignment and the change of a contract today, but for the salary, just wait until August or before.
Or my suggestion would be to pull those from the vote now, and we can vote on it once we can actually put it in. Like, going back and just putting in what that would have been based on where we are, instead of having them at the level of what the prospective scale change would.
So remove the salary, not the actual individual. Okay, Got it.
And I mean, I'm gonna make the request too, that you guys don't hire more administrators until you get this right, though. Because I think you're putting people in a really tough position, and it may change from their first year contracts if your scale is based on experience, education, or again, whatever you guys bring to us. You may put people in a situation where it was one way, and then 30 days after they started, the entire thing changed because you were going through this process. So that is just my request to you, just to get it, if we could hold off on administrators. I mean, I understand that this is that season that they go in that, but you also got to give them that disclosure that their first year contract may be different based on their second year. So
I think the disclosure has been was a letter from the board, and we've discussed that with several of them, that this is fluid. We're not sure what it's going to be. All of them are excited about the new position and the new work that they're going to do, and they understand that across the board, we're having changes in all administrators.
the new
salaries.
hires, I'm talking about the new hires now, not the existing people.
Yeah, even the new ones, they know that whatever this is, it could change.
Okay, can I just see the language that we're sending out to them, myself, of what you guys are sending them in the offer letter?
Okay.
Please, and not just myself, please share it with the others. Bailey is whispering to everybody, so please share that language of what we're sending out to everybody. I'm not done yet, I got a couple more things, that was just one. So thank you on that one. Second, go ahead.
So the change should be to what they had on their pay assignment. If you change this to the new one, how are we going to put it on the pay assignment?
No, we weren't
So
gonna-
change it to where they were. Is that what you're asking?
We weren't gonna make the change to the new, according to the new salary schedule until later, until after that schedule is ratified. As I understand it, we're not removing the individuals, we're removing the
The
salary that they would make under the fiscal year '24 schedule.
Yeah, but the title change shouldn't be changed. Because if you change the title, you have to have a salary scale with it. So if you keep in them where they were, it should be where the title should be that way. The title and the salary.
Hey, I don't think we're disagreeing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we're not disagreeing.
okay.
Okay, so you guys got it worked out? Yeah. So whatever we approve today, because we're not approving any new amounts, because we froze all those things for
Right.
those people, but I do understand for your people coming in who are new to this organization. So whatever you guys, please send us just the language on that one, because we just want to make sure it is clear to individuals kind of what we're doing as an organization. Okay, two more things. One, Dr. Bailey did ask about our retention. And we heard about what we're doing for the teachers. I'm a little bit more concerned with our administrators. I mean, I do think it is a huge loss to us that Karen Cicchetti is no longer in our organization. No matter what people, whatever, good, bad, or indifferent, she was a very spirited individual when it came to Belmont as a school there, and to lose someone going, I mean, I'm happy that it happened, I guess, now in June versus August, because that's a completely different situation. But when it comes to what we are doing to retain and enhance our principals, because I will say one thing that I did not enjoy in my first 2 years as a board member was the constant change of principals at school. And I think not having that familiarity kind of hurts the growth or that identity of that. So we still have the 5 that we had last year, but what are we doing to take individuals where they are and grow them to be with us just a little bit longer in that cycle of when our students are with us? I think that's a Dr. Lawrence question for you. Or Ms. Minor. Or she got.
I got it, Ms. Minor. We sent principals to professional development all over the country. We spent countless hours in buildings. Ms. Dooley and Ms. Spurlock spent countless hours with them on the phone, assuaging their concerns and providing feedback that's formal and informal. There are 7 principals on cabinet. We all receive calls and walk through that process because we walk the walk much as they have. And we also are thinking about this summer, we talked about it, and trying to figure out a way to give principals a one-time bonus at the end of the summer to make sure that they stay here in Dayton Public Schools. So we continue to work ad nauseum to make sure the administrators stay.
Thank you. I do want to highlight one thing. I want us to also follow our word. We talked about our principals that had openings being able to have a say in their. I haven't seen anything come up yet, so I don't know what that process, but I do hope that we are holding true to when we said that the principals would be involved in the process of picking the people on their team, meaning their second in command. So I do hope that that commitment has been honored and they have been a part of it. And I do look forward to seeing when we do get those recommendations of what the principals, our assistants from the gaps that we have had come in. And then my final question, I do appreciate Dr. Jones continuing to help out in his former role here, but we approved last month for the individual that's coming in July to start a little bit earlier on a consultant. Do we have a start date of when she will start doing consultant work for us during this month?
June 17th.
Okay. All right, those are my only questions. Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Walker?
Okay, so to circle back to item 28 and item 36, these are the same roles but different salaries. The second part to that is the transition specialist role is not, and I just searched and pulled it up, the current administrative salary schedule, that role does not exist. So how are we hiring someone with two different salaries and something that's not on the salary schedule?
I believe these are part of the DEA salary schedule, if I'm not mistaken. It's DEA. So there's so this individual, line 28, has
More years of experience?
Yes, sir. And then line 36 is a retired rehire.
Okay.
And was brought in at step 5 under the previous administration.
Okay, and then since Dr. Goodwine brought it up, I am curious on the process of the applicant pool for principals or assistant principals, because people have reached out saying that they have not been communicated with regards to getting an interview or hearing back about an interview or hearing back about an application or not being told anything, and just wanted to know, like, what's the communication process with regards to, hey, we reviewed your application, unfortunately we've gone a different way, instead of just leaving people out there, and also the assistant principal assignments or principal assignments at this point, when those may be finalized, because I do know that there are people who packed up their office who just have stuff in their car waiting on their assignment. Just clarity on those.
So typically when, like the interview process, we do communicate with those individuals that were not selected. If we don't, it's because we couldn't get in contact with them. But I inform them when I'm in interviews that they'll receive a call either way, whether they're the candidate or not. And in most cases, I can't say 100% of the time, but in most cases we do reach out to those individuals who were not afforded the opportunity to serve DPS.
And I think you spoke also about assignments. If I think you're talking about the person I'm thinking you're talking about, they received a text on 6/7. They received an email on 6/7 and responded via email 6/10 acknowledging it. So we can get you the information.
Any other questions? Dr. Goodwine?
Yes, I just want to make a request for, like, over this next year. I know we're probably going to approve Handshake next week. Can we have a column, and this is kind of, I guess, more to Ms. Minor, to our next person, not so much to Dr. Jones here. Can we, over the next year, in the HR for the teachers that come through, can we just have some indication if it came from the applicant started with the Handshake group or not? Because I'm very curious. This is the 3rd year that we've had this one, and I'm just curious if the program is yielding what we're paying for it as they come through. So that's one. And then second, if I could just have a list of all the individuals in the organization that have the title of on assignment and where those assignments are located, that would be great. And the duration of those assignments, I guess, too. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I think you're good there. Appreciate you, Dr. Jones. Appreciate you on there. Do not have any comments, well, no questions there. I do want to say I would like to see some of those tasks. I know we had, under Chief Harmon, he had kind of implemented some things right there. If we can get an update on, what are some of the new ways that we're doing, I think it would be good once Dr. Davis comes in too, Dr. Lawrence, to help, come up with something with her in the first few months coming in. What does that look like going into next year about how do we retain staff? I will say to the question or what was brought up, that Dr. Lawrence had brought up, this resignation list is shorter than what we had at this time last year. We also lost more administrators at this time last year. So while it's never good to lose them, we want to trend in a positive way, but then we want to get to a point where we're not losing anybody and keeping people and just gaining people. So I have nothing there. If there's no other questions, may we have a vote?
Are we voting with 29, 30, and 31?
Did you want to still move that out to a separate vote?
How do
Dr. Goodwin?
No, I didn't ask for a separate vote.
Huh.
I didn't ask for a separate vote. I asked that the salaries be froze like the rest of the salaries on where we are with that one. There was actually a lot to ask for, so I do hope that when they play the minutes back, that they write down all the things that we said. 'Cause
Right, so I was saying at first you asked for it to be pulled off, which would have been then for a second vote, so you're fine with it as
No,
long
it
as
can
the
be a
salaries?
vote under all the things that we said. So.
All right, cool.
So shout
Yes,
out
ma'am,
to- shout out
everything
to-
on there.
Shout out to Toya, who's gonna listen to this later and have to
Toya
write
was
all-
here earlier, she should have
Dang.
stayed. All right, everything on there, Madam Treasurer.
Okay. President Smith,
Yes,
Ms. Wick,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Yes.
7 yeses.
thank you. Next recommendation, sir.
I'd like to ask the board to review contracts and agreements.
Okay, any questions? I'll give a few more moments. If not, we can ask them during the week as well. Dr. Goodwin?
Yes, on the Tesco specialty vehicle, question is, who, does this vehicle require CDL to drive, and kind of where will it be stored at? It's one on here. Purchase of a mobile health unit to be district-wide for students and staff.
I don't know if it'll be a CDL, but it'll be some type of permit.
So it
but
does
a
not
CD
require a
no,
CDL?
It does not require a CDL, but I don't know which permit. I can get that to you.
Would it be like similar to the van training type thing
Yes.
that we did with that one?
Mhm. Yep. In fact, they've already applied.
Okay, and where are we storing it?
Probably at transportation for now. We'll have to talk to whoever the new director of nursing services is, and we'll get some input from them.
Okay, thank you. The second, the solution tree, that is for Work Coaching Academy for building leadership. Which buildings are we targeting with this program? All 27?
All of them.
On the handshake data that was sent to us, is this cumulative for the year? Yes. So we've gotten, out of the year, we've gotten 100 and 102 total applicants. Do you know how many of those applicants actually turned into job offers?
I do not have that data at the time, but I can get it pretty quickly. I'll ask our IT analyst to send that data to us,
Okay.
or to you, to the entire board.
Send all of them. Bailey wants everything I have. He just don't ask for it like me. Always looking at my paper. If we can have that one, and then also too, if those individuals are still with us, and this is just this school year,
Yes.
can we possibly get the last 3 school years as well, just to kind of see the trends of if not only if we're actually getting people to the offer, if they're staying with us, and if they're still with us today?
Will do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Walker?
I just had a quick question. I'm curious of something. With regards to the nursing services, like, and the public health piece, is it a requirement to outsource that, or is that something that, like, the nurses in the district can do that? And I just was looking at it and just was curious about that when I saw public health on it.
1 second.
So I know that it's charter schools, but I just wasn't sure on, does the state say they can outsource? Do we offer that, or?
Yeah, we don't have the capacity
Okay.
to support that with our current nurses. And actually would cost us more.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I will ask if there are any other questions during the week, please send them in, and I will also ask on the flip side, please make sure that the questions from the board members are answered in a timely fashion so we can be prepared for next week's votes. Your next recommendation, sir.
I recommend that the Board of Education review the consultants and contracts for review.
Any questions? Dr. Goodwin?
Yes, with the, and I love it that Ms. Goins is here, with the equity consultant that we have on here, how would this even enhance the work that I guess you're currently doing as well? And I know that you are also an experienced educator. So how does this benefit us? And what are we expecting to get from this consultant? I'm said everybody got to walk up.
How's everybody? I sent a response, and so I can tell you the kind of work I do. A lot of work, but the work that she can assist us with is help crafting a DPS equity policy, develop our equity plan as it relates to the action plan. That action plan, the academic action plan, is going to drive all of our work. So how do we support that with equity indicators, metrics? Look at longitudinally who has not been successful as it relates to reading and writing or whatever that may be. Who has or has not had access to AP classes, career tech. So those kinds of things help us with the metrics of measuring of those. A succinct equity plan, the one that I had before, Dr. Lawrence said I have to scale it down and pare it up. It was lofty and not measurable and not concrete. So she's a scholar. So what does the current research say about equity as it relates to public schools and public education? Again, equity metrics is student indicators. We believe that equity, literacy and writing is a social justice issue, so that is going to be at the foundation of some of the work that she does and has done with us. So how do we also look at increasing academic experiences, access, representation for our students, meaningful experiences? So kind of looking at doing an assessment in each building. You know, we looked at the one plan of our 27 schools, 23 have to address some equity issues, 23 out of 27. So we have a lot of work to do, and she is a researcher. I'm a practitioner, so we've worked together off and on for years. She also has been responsible for creating regionally, one of the programs to attract and retain BIPOC teachers of color. So I've done that kind of work too, but so us combining it for DPS. So that's how she get it enhanced.
I have a follow-up question. So the last thing you just said about her creating the program,
hear you.
I said a follow-up question. The last thing you just said about creating the program of how to attract and retain BIPOC teachers.
Yes.
Where, does she have a body of work where that is actually happening right now, and kind of what?
The whole
what is that?
dream. She does the whole work for the region. And so the DREAM program, that's Dr. Aguero's program. She did this piece at Sinclair, so she does a lot of work with Sinclair in attracting high schoolers. We just had an event Dr. Lawrence attended last Tuesday to attract high schoolers to the field of education. So she's done a lot of work around that.
I mean, is there another employer somewhere where she has some results of like the theory of her work?
I would say that I asked Devin Berry about the number of people they have and how long they've stayed in the field, because he's the practitioner component of the dream, but she is the person who's created the framework. So we can ask for that.
For the people at home, who is Devin Berry?
He's the Human Resources Director in West Carrollton.
Okay, so yeah, that piece right there. But yeah, if we could just have that information of just kind of
Thank
some
you
of the
for
proof
that.
of
Minutes,
work.
because I attend monthly, myself and Dr. Jones, we attend the monthly meetings. But yeah, so regionally, we have been a part of that process that she's led the work. She got the grants. She's brought Sinclair and UD along with that. So she and Dr. Boyd have kind of led that work the
And
last
with-
couple of years.
And with the work, is this a year process, or what's the time frame on from the? I heard the writing and implementing policies for us. So what kind of time
Intermittently, the year.
Okay. So at the start of next year, we should have had a full product for us to go in. So this year, it's
The hope we will have portions. Like we also are crafting an equity plan based on what the current research says about the data right now. So year 1, year 2, year 3, what does the equity plan, to revisit it? We have a scope and sequence and what that should look like based on the needs. A lot of relatively young professional principals. So how do we support them in this equity work, not just overwhelm them or creating another thing? And how do we infuse into the existing structures, which would be the MTSS system and the PLCs? So I need assistance with crafting that. Do you have a question?
I was just going to piggyback and say I did happen to attend one of her sessions that she put on with Montgomery County ESC. I'm interested in the work with Learn to Earn that she did as well, and the teacher retention piece that she did with the equity plan as well. So I'm interested to see the work.
What'd you think?
It was actually appropriate for the audience that was there.
Yeah, I like that. I'm interested in seeing the results from the work more than I am the theory of the work. So I do look forward to seeing some of her success stories that have occurred in other places, or knowing if we are kind of one of the first one to actually test out like that full thing. So either way, just want to know where we are in where she is as a consultant in this field.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, Ms. Goins. Appreciate the work that you do in the district. I do see now we have some students from that school that wears blue coming in.
That could be bonus, you know that, right?
So as we,
That
before we
concludes
move
my
over,
recommendation and reviews.
appreciate that, Dr. Lawrence. So could we have that presentation before we move over to treasurer's recommendation?
Absolutely. Let's bring in Paul Lawrence Dunbar, the 30-time consecutive City League champion, and also the state champion in the 110 highs. Just a track powerhouse. I was a principal at Thurgood Marshall. I was, but I graduated at Dunbar. I know something about that blue and white.
Appreciate it. Could we have, is Principal Bailey here as well? She stood up when you came first. Oh, okay.
We apologize for being so late. It was out of our hands. Do we have the certificates? Are they in here?
I think those are actually.
Okay. Well, this is mainly most of our kids that participated in the city track meet. We left maybe like 8 or 9 that spread it out. But I'd like to introduce to you the team. Jace Allen is first. Come on, Jace, up. Shake him. Walk up there and shake the hand. Matthew Harrison. Kishad. Ada. David. Come on up, David. Mr. Hooks. James Bailey. DeAndre Bean. Justice Brown. Kennedy James. Miracle Walker. Arianda. Devontae Young. Our principal, Miss Bailey. We are the coaches. This is Coach Hurt, and I'm Coach Booker. Yeah. We really appreciate y'all having us down here. Thanks a lot. Okay. I just want to introduce to you a 4-time state champion. He's 2 times indoor state champion. He is 2 times outdoor state champion. He had, for the indoor season, he had the 3rd fastest time in the country. And this Friday, we're going to the Outdoor National Championship in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Mr. Devontae Young.
Appreciate that, and congratulations to all of our young scholar athletes, and good luck to all of them as they continue on. Moving forward. Madam Treasurer, your recommendations, please.
Okay. I have a temporary appropriation measure for fiscal year 2025. Let's go to all fund appropriations. And as you can see, our appropriation for next year is for general fund, which is our operating fund, 262.9 million. And we'll go to all funds, including general fund. Our appropriation is 406.3 million for next year. We're calling this temporary appropriation because we don't know how much we're going to have. The unreserved fund balance will be carried on. So the final budget is going to be in August or July. So let's look at it. If you have any questions, we'll answer.
I just have one.
But we had a presentation last week too.
Yeah, just on the name of it, should this be called, since it's the temporary and not the permanent appropriation yet?
It's temporary.
Can we have that, I mean, on the document it says permanent. Can we just have it changed to temporary?
Sure. Sharice will change it.
Ms. Lacy?
Can we, and on the all funds, can we see a year-to-year comparison?
Yes, it is included in here.
That's for the general fund?
That's for general fund.
Can we see one for all the funds?
We
For
can.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
just for the appropriate.
I
Yeah.
will send it to all of you.
Cool.
Okay.
That's all. I'd like to see that.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other questions?
I did have one. So on this fund, where it's the Esser's dollar, so is this going to be the remaining balance still left to spend?
Yeah, it will be spent by September 30th.
Okay, so with the positions that was in here that's moving to general fund, so this can still be placed somewhere, so this is,
Yeah, it will be spent by that time,
okay,
completely.
okay.
Any other questions? Dr. Goodwin?
The Student Activities District Managed Fund, can I just get a breakdown of what we actually utilize that one for?
You wanted it detailed?
Yes.
We can email you.
Yes.
I don't know. We can email the detailed ledger.
If I can have it before next week, because then I'm gonna talk about it next week.
Okay.
But thank you.
Yeah. Any other question?
Last question for me.
Uh-huh.
So the principal fund, I mean, do we add 800,000 to that every year?
No.
Because I
How
thought
much it
thought this was a self-managed fund where they fundraise and add to their own fund. So are we now giving them money?
Yeah.
No, it's basically self-managed, so it's donations. They get some grants in there. There's some Dayton Foundation money coming in there. So it's not supported by the general fund. So each building have their own allocation in the general fund. This is basically principal's discretion, and it's managed by them. So there's no district money in there.
Okay, so should this be under general fund, or should it be under total special revenue fund, or?
It's considered a special revenue fund
Okay.
because, like,
Gotcha.
treasurer does not control this fund.
I
It's
see.
controlled
Yeah.
by the principals.
But, so they have 800,000 in the principal's fund?
Yes.
Can I have a
Yes.
report on, like, what each building has and what they typically spend money on?
Sure.
We can do it.
Okay.
Okay.
You sent that before.
Yeah.
Dr. Goodwin?
The Career Development Fund that has 5,000 in it, I guess my question is, not necessarily why it only has 5,000, but if individuals take advantage of the career development, is that somewhere budgeted in here?
Yes, that's part of the general fund.
Okay, so it's,
We do, like Treasury does not allocate it like that, but it's in the department. So it's with like human resources, and then academics would have it, depending on who's taking the $5,000. But
Okay.
it's part of it.
Dr. Lawrence, I think my request is more towards you. Can we really make sure that we have that program? I know we passed a policy on it, and I know of some individuals who have stated that they're trying to take advantage of that program itself. Can we just make sure that that is flushed out in a way that we can communicate to individuals exactly what they need to do on their end? And they need to complete, not only to have the tuition reimbursement piece of it, and just actually also seeing, I just want to make sure that they know that that benefit is there for them, and that when they try to take advantage of it, they are actually able to take advantage of it. And then my second one is it also included in the general fund with the referral program?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Second request of the referral program being flushed out, that people know how to take advantage of it, and when they do it, that we are doing our side on the back end of making sure that they get the compensation when they do refer someone to work here, and it actually goes the way that we are asking for.
Got it.
Do you have any other question? Okay. The next one is the temporary certificate of estimated resources. And let's go to the estimated resources link. As you can see, we are estimating 159.7 million to be carried over for next year, but we will get from taxes 89.9 million. All other sources is the state foundation, federal interest, or everything. We are estimating 331.6 million. So the total estimated resources, resources is 581.3 million.
Any questions? Seeing none, your next recommendation?
The next one is, this is every year it's approved by the board. This one is I recommend the approval of the resolution to grant the treasurer permission to utilize single source procurement for fiscal year 2025. I don't think you will have any questions on this one.
Okay.
The next one is permission to advertise the formal solicitation. This one is a routine one too. That's a permission given to the treasurer to advertise.
I see no questions there.
Okay, the next one is permission to utilize purchasing cooperatives. This one is the routine one too for us.
There may be some consolidation in that motion.
All right.
Okay. Next one is monthly financial for May. I don't think you will have. This one, no. This one is a placeholder. The finance committee is going to meet on Thursday, and next week the board is going to approve it. G is approval of minutes for May. D is donations, which we love, and thank you, donors. We have several donations, and when it's approved, after it's the approval, I'm going to send a letter, personal letter, to the donors. Thank you.
Next recommendation?
Next one is purchase requisitions. These purchase requisitions are from different departments, and let's review them. And if you have any questions, we will answer.
Are there any questions at the moment?
Yes. Somebody jump out there, you gonna call on me.
I thought that was your signal.
I said
thought that
yes,
was,
you didn't
I thought
say-
that was the bat signal.
Didn't say
Dr.
let it go.
Goodwin.
I'm just saying. Okay. The stepping stone, can someone just tell me kind of what these services are? Have we had them historically? And if so, how have they been performing? Turn your mic on.
I'll let Shelley Dismore speak to that in detail, but yes, it's something we have to subcontract on a regular basis, and I'll let her talk to the details of it.
Good evening, everyone. So Stepping Stones is who we contract with to obtain related service people, such as speech therapists, occupational therapists. We can't compete with them financially, so we have a hard time securing people through DPS employment, so we contract through Stepping Stones. We currently have 17 SLPs through Stepping Stones and 7 DPS speech therapists, just to compare it. And we also do some OTs with them and Montgomery County ESC, which is not what you asked about, but we do have OTs and OTAs, like occupational therapists, through Stepping Stones as well.
Okay, when you say we can't compete, is it our wages are too low?
Yes.
Or, okay,
Yes.
and our wages too low because of our own financial constraints, or is there something we haven't just addressed?
That's something that we could address in the next collective bargaining issue that comes up. But there's a significant gap. In fact, we have people who leave and then go there.
That's terrible.
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
Ms. Wick?
Thank you. As you, some of these consulting services that we use compared to our staff, can you talk a little bit about the services and what that looks like? Are we still receiving the same service? I mean, the same level of service, same level of professionalism, same level of attentiveness, same level of following the prescription of the work that we are required to do? Is the efficacy of the work? Talk about the comparison a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, we have great people on the DPS side and on the Stepping Stone side. We work collaboratively with the agency in the event that someone wasn't up to par, but to be quite honest with you, they vet them pretty well. So yes, they are great employees. and
So our kids are still receiving the same quality
receiving
services?
Great services, yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions for Ms. Dinsmore?
Not from Ms. Dinsmore. I just have other questions.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate you, Ms. Dinsmore.
My second question, because I was looking at all of our stuff, with our Frost Brown Tide, can we get a comparison, and I guess this one is to you, Alex, can we just kind of know kind of what we've spent on in this year along and kind of a comparison over like the last maybe 4 years? I think we've had Frost Brown Tide for maybe 3 years now. Yeah, and then on our side, can we get a comparison on what we spent before Frost Brown Tide and the type of cases that we were taking on at that point? Just kind of seeing where we are with that piece.
Okay.
That's all I have for those ones, but I have some more for under 15, but I will pass.
All right. Mr. Eric Walker?
I just would clarity on what ClassLink is, and the second one was, I see 441 laptops on here. James is already coming up. That's crazy. 441 laptops on here, and just was curious on Were we going to circle back on what was discussed prior as far as the laptops that teachers now will get and the old laptops from that going to students, and what that looks like and where this 441 will go from?
So for the ClassLink, that is a syncing service for things like Business Plus over to Microsoft or Google. We currently have another software doing it, but it doesn't do a great job. It also allows us to turn on dual factor for students so they can use images to be a little more secure than they are today. For the devices, those are to replace some of our old devices in the system for students. They're specific student devices. So we have roughly, I think it's 3,000 student devices today. It's to start replacing some of those that are older than 5 years.
Thank you.
I got one follow-up for you. On the donations, I saw that there were donations for some student devices. Are those also being weaved into that replacement piece right there, or are these like?
They will be weaved in,
refurbished?
so those were specifically desktops.
Okay.
So we're gonna use them, we found some libraries that have some extremely old computers we're gonna swap them out with.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Williams? Appreciate you, Mr. Williams. Any other questions on purchase requisitions? Dr.
Yes.
Goodwin?
Yes, on the under 15,000, kind of just want some information on on the tuition reimbursement if these individuals, because that would be a part of our, Dr. Lawrence, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be a part of our professional development program, correct?
That is correct.
All right, so one, if the individuals did fill out the paperwork for that piece of it, then two, kind of who are the individuals and like where they work, the work locations that we are looking to receive, hopefully have now our own individuals also can do CCP classes. And if we do have some schools that didn't have any participants in them, just kind of what we're doing to try to get some of their staff to go through the same process.
Got it.
Can I just clarity on the under 15, the McKinley-Vento radio ads and billboards?
You said you want you want to what?
Yeah, I just was curious of
Oh.
what messaging is put out for that. What's the attraction to that? And
Yeah, we talked about that at Atlanta Academy actually one day about the efficacy of billboards and if people do in fact still look at them. And we came to the conclusion that they do, and we had to also spend that money. So we are going to be posting several billboards, and maybe I can find out what they look like.
I'm just curious on, is it
Yeah.
just attracting students back to the district, or is this for bring awareness to that?
It's make awareness that McKinney-Vento exists and that we have those services.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Dr. Goodwin?
Not necessarily a question, more of a request, since you guys are talking about advertisement on that one. Some of the festivals that are happening this summer, I think are really great spots to connect with individuals with our services, not only the McKinney-Vento, but enrollment and transportation, just some of those things. Some of the festivals I saw, I mean, the Pride, when I saw some other schools there, and I was a little upset that I didn't see our people there because I hate for them to encroach on our territory like that. But if we could just, I know this coming weekend, the Juneteenth Festival is at that Liberation Park. There is a calendar out there somewhere of events that are happening. I've been trying to get it myself. I've just been a little busy, but if we can just make sure we have some type of representation that allows individuals to, those are just other walking touch points that are highly frequent in the summer, for us to just take advantage of that.
Are those on Saturday?
Usually Saturday, yes.
You're gonna get me in trouble with Eric Walker.
He'd be all right. He'd be all right. Eric Walker can be out there with y'all. You know, he
Yeah,
already
it's a
gonna be there.
Saturday. You gonna get me in trouble with him.
The Levitt Pavilion too actually they have a lot of really good events, but if we could just take some event, we've done it in the past, but taking advantage of just really trying to shift asking our staff to shift those schedules to be present so people can connect with people from our district in a place that they're already at.
I was going to say something, but I'll just ask it separately. I won't.
Good job.
You learning, Board Member Eric Walker. Any other questions? Seeing none, your next recommendation, Madam Treasurer.
The next one is then and now. We have a few items on then and now. Let's review, and if you have any questions, we'll answer.
Any questions on then and now? Dr. Goodwin?
Yes, with the Dayton Children's Hospital, so we did get a presentation, I don't know if it was this board or the last board, at some point in the year. Just kind of some information on how effective is this partnership working for us. And I believe in one of the responses I got back that I believe we are coming up to that time to where we are working on the next version of this. And just a little data of showing like, how's it working?
We agree with you 100%. In fact, we're in the process of having a consultant from the University of Dayton who's going to continue to do some of this evaluation work for us, because we agree with you. How effective is it? And Associate Superintendent Minor and I have already sat down with Debbie Feldman, and we're negotiating for next year based on the efficacy, where those individuals were and how well it worked.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none,
That concludes my recommendation.
thank you, Madam Treasurer. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Dr. Marvin Jones, recommendation, sir.
I recommend ratification of Section 7A, Business Manager HR items.
Okay.
This for a vote?
Yeah, it says it on
Yes.
there, yeah.
On a motion?
I will entertain a motion for a vote.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second,
It's been moved and second.
Who moved it?
Mr. Lacy.
Mr. Lacy,
Okay.
Dr. Goodwin with the second. Any questions? Dr. Goodwin?
More of just a comment. I like seeing that our transportation drivers, I don't know if people watch our board members who are interested in that field, but we are currently one of the highest ones. And to see someone come in at the rate that they negotiate, just like to point that out.
Mr. Walker?
Just thoughts and prayers to the family of Mr. Conwell on here, who was a great service to the district. And yeah.
Appreciate that, Mr. Walker. Echo that sentiment. Any other questions? Seeing none, may we have a vote?
President Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Wick,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you. I'm sending it down over to Dr. Goodwin.
All right, so we have two policies that are up for first reading, so I'll give you a little background on them after I read the part. In so much as the Board of Education is committed to the continued updating of its policies, rules, regulations, manual, and the committee which was appointed has been working towards that goal, the following are brought at this time for first reading in compliance with Board File BFC policy adoption. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Dayton City School District, Montgomery County, Ohio, hereby accepts and adopts the following policies that have been codified for inclusion in the Handbook of Policies, Rules, and Regulations. GCBE, Professional Staff Vacation and Holidays, Administrators and Supervisors. GDBE, Support Staff Vacation and Holidays. These policies are being read for the first time. As such, a motion or second is not required. These policies will be available in the superintendent's office for review and comment prior to their second reading and adoption by the Board of Education. Furthermore, the policies will be reviewed by the superintendent's office, the board office, and the legal department of the Dayton Public Schools prior to the second reading. I do want to note just two changes on both of these policies that came up, which our staff has brought forward on it. It has increased the amount of time that you can carry over from 40 hours to 80 hours. And that has been made based on kind of the workflow here of individuals having to take off time right now when they're kind of in their busy season. So the leadership team has heard you and they put that forward. And this is a change from when that was implemented, I believe, in 2017. And that's pretty much it. I will ask Ms. Kidd if you can post the regulations on the document that we have for 2024, so individuals can kind of know that work that occurred today too. There were a couple of regulations that were passed. Please check out the board docs under the 2024 section, and it will give you a link to allow you just to see what those regulations are.
Appreciate that. Any questions for Dr. Goodwin or anybody on policy committee?
I do want to ask if the policy committee can review the DSS PTO days to kind of be in alignment with, similar to this with administrators, because they do have a different allotted amount of PTO rather than the administrator contracts.
If you could send us your recommendations, and we will go through our process with it.
I absolutely will.
I will say, it takes about a month for us to get things resolved, because we send everything to legal before we talk about it, just to make sure what we're talking about we can actually do. But shoot it over, and we will get it in our rotation.
Appreciate you.
Any other questions? Appreciate you, Dr. Goodwin, and the work of the policy committee. For the good of the order, is there any other new business from any board members?
Yeah, I got some.
Say what?
He can go first, go ahead.
Did you have one? Okay, Dr. Goodwin?
Yes, there are a couple things. First, I want to make a motion to hire the AMA Group to seek out an internal auditor for us.
I'll second.
And if anybody had any comments on it.
Is your motion to, how would I want to, do we know the rate that we would want to give them for it?
We got a quote for them, so I do want to move forward with us negotiating that piece of it. I don't know if that rate is still good, because they've sent it to us several times now.
All right. Yeah, I think we'll definitely want to get back and see what their rate would be to go forward with it. Any other questions on the motion? All right, may we have a vote?
President Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Wick,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Yes.
7 yeses.
All right, anything else, Dr. Goodwin?
Yes, second, just kind of some discussion from our superintendent, our treasurer, because we have talked about this informally about teachers in our elementary daily for the specials, meaning art, music, and physical education. And just wanted to know, is that an opportunity for us to kind of bring that in? It has been a pain point that we have heard from both parents as well as from some of our staff and the individuals who have to, like, we made that change of putting our athletic directors in the building daily, of seeing if we can do something similar with our elementary schools, because, I mean, it's a part of that team, and to only have it twice a day as we are working on these type of things. I just want to know, have we had any movement on whether we could do that or not?
I can say that we have not, because we just finished the budget and we are preparing for next year. That would mean that we have to go back and look at FTEs again, and also begin a recruiting process. We can't be all things to all people. We don't have enough money for that, so we have to make decisions about what we bring to you all and what we value, and then the board makes a decision on how we allocate that.
So let me ask you guys as a board, is that something we value or not? I mean, what's your thoughts on it? It's not my opinion, it's something that people are asking us.
I mean, I value music and art in the elementary programs, and all of our elementary programs. I think you said more than twice, you mean more than twice a week. You want it daily, is what you.
Yeah, so the pain point has been that from the individuals who have to go between two schools, that they don't get to be fully a part of a community, because they have to, some days they're at one, some days at their other. And I mean, it's similar to what the thought process when we got that athletic presentation about when you're in the building, how impactful you get to be and how you get to be about that community. So I do know that we never fully feel our teacher part just on past thing, I don't know how close we came this year, but just kind of that thought of, we're talking about the art school itself, and as we are gearing up towards that path, knowing that specials, they're just not offered. I don't know how they are in other districts, honestly, too, and I guess that's another question. What are some people who leave us, is that something that is there? And I mean, it's just a thing opened up there for us to get to that point of being able to not be so taxing on those individuals as we talk about retention. Do art teachers, music teachers, and phys ed teachers leave us because they get to go to one building in another district versus having to share amongst two in ours? I don't know.
I did 5 years in Northmont, and the teachers split there the whole time, and it was an inconvenience, and they didn't like it, the Unified Arts teachers. It is something that's relatively common in districts this size or smaller. Yeah, it's also something that we've talked about as well. Judy Spurlock actually did a great job with the schedule last year, because when she got the job, some people were actually traveling to 3 schools. So she was able to streamline that. And there are a couple schools that I believe have one of those 2 every day based on their size. Maybe Valerie, maybe Ruskin. I can't remember. I have to get that information and data for her. But it's a thing, and we talk about it in terms of, I've talked to the treasurer about it, and we don't have unlimited funds.
My thought is, I see the value. I see the value in being able to have those specials. I know there's different ways to do it. I just would appreciate the looking into what does that look like? What is the scheduling in the buildings? Even as I came up in the district, there were times where one quarter we just had gym every day of the week. There were times where we had split it up where we might have gym, art, and music. So I think looking into it, and then also looking at being creative of how we can supplement some of these things would be useful. So I value the conversation. I appreciate you bringing that up, Dr. Gilwine.
I wonder too, in terms of all of the gaps that we have in filling teaching positions, are Unified Arts teachers readily available? I mean, is it hard to fill those positions? What does that look like?
Very similar to other positions at this time of year. And in terms of the teaching profession writ large, I think 1.7 million were out of the profession last year. They're going toward 900,000 this year. It's a tough time and day to be a teacher. So recruitment across the board is difficult.
I'd just be interested, like, we haven't offered it, so we don't know. Yeah, and we haven't offered it in a couple of years. But it would be interesting to see if I can make a request of how much we didn't spend this year in our teaching what we hire for teachers. Because again, I know in the past, we only got to about 70% of our entire budget for teachers because we just couldn't hire them. Not because it wasn't available, and versus what our projection is right now of where we're going with that one.
So this year was much cleaner, much tighter. Actually, Judy and Spurlock and Aaron Dooley were involved in the projections, and I think it actually works out better because the chiefs are there, they're on the ground, they're there with the principals themselves. So I think we'll be much closer. I think you're speaking back to, that's actually how we finished the stadium off, because there was a gap between how many teachers we had and how many we actually had projected to hire. I think this year we're much cleaner, much tighter. I don't know that gap exists this year. I can look into it.
Mm-hmm. Anything else from anybody on the board? Any other new business?
Yeah,
Any
I
other?
got more things I want.
All right, Dr. Gilwine.
If I just could request that we can get a presentation on this north-south piece of it. We got another communication come out today, and other than when we've heard it at the dais, I don't have any information other than what I'm reading with other individuals. So I don't know what's going on, and I would like to know what's going on with this transportation piece of it. And I would like our community to have a clear sense of it. And it's probably falling on you now, Dr. Jones, to hopefully be able to work in concentration here with Dr. Lawrence of getting up to speed on what this is, so we can just be better, we can articulate it better from our seats on what's happening this school year comparative to what we've done in the past. That's all for me.
Ms. Wick?
Yeah. piggybacking along on the transportation opportunities that we have, and, you know, DPS, we get a lot of negative reflection about our kids and RTA, and, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult from our business community perspective. It's difficult for our kids. It's my personal belief that our high school kids would be best served on yellow buses, but I do understand the value of them having the RTA passes, of our young students wanting to be downtown. This is their community. These are the streets they should be able to run safely and be in. This is the community they should be in. So I will always sit in the seat to protect our kids and do what's best by DPS. But I do think it's important that as we are approaching these solutions around transportation, that, you know, there are, while we can't reasonably think about transporting high school kids, all of the charter schools and our high school kids right now, that there are other solutions around some of the issues that are presented. And along those lines, I attended a meeting yesterday with the Central Business District where it's being requested, is there anything that we can do around implementing some sort of conflict resolution within our curriculum? You know, I think as adults, we all could use some conflict resolution training. So the fact that we don't think that our young children out here, who a lot of our students who grow up in, you know, are poverty-based and grow up in very chaotic situations, that they don't have the skill set to navigate conflict. And when they are in our communities and on our buses, we want to equip them to be able to manage that conflict. So as educators and as a school system, is there something that we can, I'm going to request that there's something that we implement around conflict management to help build our students into our citizens of tomorrow, better citizens of tomorrow, because I feel like that's our responsibility. So I'd like to make a request that we start to at least begin to research some of the opportunity there. So thank you.
It's part of the summer transition for all ninth graders currently right now.
Mr. Walker?
Thank you. I just want to, two points. Number one, the school district is here to educate students. I think transporting students, again, RTA, if they came to the table, that would be great. Putting them on yellow school buses would be great, but again, have to look at the law and then providing transportation for charter school high school students as well. But also realizing that the school district is not the city. The school district cannot provide recreational opportunities after school or from 8 a.m. to midnight for youth and think that we're the only ones responsible for youth. The city used to have 20-something recreation centers. They now have 3. They're not welcoming for youth to go in there because they want to do basketball. They want to do all type of programming. They don't have those opportunities. So I think that it's a collaboration effort that needs to happen with the city, the county, because the county does provide representation and dollars to RTA and the school district. And we actually sit down and come up with a plan that can be instrumental across the board. I think that will be my thing with transporting high school students. I think it's a great opportunity, but again, if we had the partnership and the investment, I think we can do some really great work and be a testimonial story. Second, I just want to clear up something from the speaker earlier. After attending the track meet for pretty much all 3 days, I mean, first time the district has held this opportunity in, I believe, 15 or 20 years. 38,000 people over the 3 days came out to Welcome Stadium to attend it. We knew that there were going to be hiccups. The individuals, yes, they were not able to get into the home side, but they were afforded the opportunity with their tickets on the visitor side admission because seats did exist on that side. The home side was full. Also, OSHA was a rental, not a district put on event. So it was in partnership with the district and OSHA renting the space. We're always going to have people that has negative remarks. That's totally fine, understandable. But I want the remarks to be both sides of the story and not just one-sided approach with that. Thank you.
Okay. Any new business from anyone else on the board? Dr. Goodwine.
I just want to say thank you to all the volunteers in our district, which were staffers who volunteered for the Astro Track Meet. They put on a phenomenal event, 3 days. I think they did an outstanding job, and just kudos to Chief Jones, Chief Wright, and every other individual that was out there day in and day out. The concessions it was beautiful to watch. They all had on their orange shirts. I mean, they looked and they operated like the well-oiled machine that we have seen them perfect over the year. And I just think for our first time throwing the state, they did a phenomenal job. It's unfortunate that the individual who came today had a unfortunate situation, and I'm sure that it's also something that can be remedied just with conversations and finding out kind of really what happened there, where was the breakdown, and how to move forward. But it does not take away from the outstanding event, not only the economic resources that this event brought into our district, which I think is huge for Dayton anytime that we get something like this, but it was great to see that our district pulled it off with our team, our internal staff, and a host of community organizations that volunteered to also work those concession stands. So thank you all for everyone who was involved and put in on making sure that event went off without any hitches, and it was just a phenomenal time. And we also got to celebrate one of our state track meet students tonight too, which I believe he graduated, but that's okay. And it's great. It always feels great. And if you guys, I don't know if you made it out, if you went to the event and you saw individuals come in and they kept stopping at the cases, they stopped at the walls, they took pictures of the wall, they kept reading just the different records. And it was just really good to watch individuals really show some appreciation and just learn something about something that we have in our district and that we put a good investment in. So again, thank you to everyone involved in it. You guys did a phenomenal job.
Thank you. Anyone else, Madam Treasurer?
I have nothing today.
Thank you. Dr. Lawrence?
The usual, I appreciate my team. Thanks for hanging in there. When we're done, we have an executive session. Please enjoy the rest of this sunny day. I heard about the Pride Festival, in particular the 5K. I know Ms. Reiner put in a blistering time. And I know that Mr. Lacey is a swimmer. I see him at the gym swimming. So I'm challenging all the superintendents out there to a run, swim, and I'm going to do the powerlifting portion of the competition. So run, swim, powerlifting. I'm challenging all Montgomery County 16 superintendents. Thank you.
Dr. Jones, Dr. Marvin Jones. All right, appreciate that. I'm going to echo the sentiments that was shared about the work that went in. Glad to say that we did get a great letter from Doug Ute, the executive director of OSHA, complimenting the district on how well the state meet went, as well as expanding the format from the usual 2-day to a 3-day format. And so I appreciate that. And we'll say the situation that was brought up earlier also came from a situation where our staff were told to stop letting in people at a time. And then Chief Jones actually was the one who helped to kind of get things going. We also had a moment where Chief Wright worked with our Dayton police to not escalate any situations, but de-escalate as parents like to gather and spectators gather around. So I want to say thank you to everyone that helped in those spaces. But people's experiences are their experience. So I will say that we also instructed Dr. Jones to reach out to the young lady that came out to speak, because people's experiences are their experiences, and we want to value that, but we also want to make sure that we're continuing collaboration, continuing conversations, and also valuing the time that people spend when they do come and speak before the board. It is not an easy thing for people to always do, so we want to value people's experiences and then have those follow-up conversations. Just want to say thank you to everybody who came out tonight. Appreciate all the work that goes on into the district. Thank you for the board members as we ended one school year and we're already turning around, getting ready for the next one. So I want to say thank you for all the work that they do as a board. I know we're always out and about and being in the district, and I hear all the time about the presence of the board and the presence of people in the community as it's seen. So I just want us to lift that up. I want to tell everybody, be safe. Summertime, so many things can happen. We want to come back into our school year and have a safe start. We want to make sure everybody's safe for the summer. If we can keep putting up the summer events, I've seen those summer events, those camps, those opportunities. We definitely want to keep sharing those for our parents. I appreciate those things that are going out. And that is all I have. I told Ahmed I would get it 7:30. I'm 4 minutes ahead. So Ahmed, told you, my man, told you. But pursuant to section 121.22G2 of the Ohio Revised Code, I move that this board go into executive session. This meeting is being held to consider the appointment and employment of a public employee, as well as confer with our attorney involving pending or imminent court action. Do I have a second? Second. It's been seconded. Do we have any questions? Seeing none, may we have a vote?
President Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Wick,
Yes.
Dr. Goodwin,
Yes.
Dr. Bailey,
Yes.
Mr. Lacy,
Yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
Ms. Reinhardt.
Yes.
7 yeses.
Thank you.